Have you ever looked at your favorite blouse and wondered why it suddenly makes you feel older rather than elegant? For many women, that single glance in the mirror reveals more than wrinkles or hair color ever could. The blouse frames your face, directs the eye to your posture, and communicates mood before you say a word. When it fails, it can make even the most confident woman feel diminished. One of my clients, Diane, age 62, discovered this in an unexpected way. She had relied for years on boxy floral tops that felt safe, but they left her looking tired. When she finally tried a jewel-tone blouse with a softer neckline, the difference was immediate. At her granddaughter's birthday party, the compliments poured in. She looked radiant, rested, even younger. Nothing about her had changed, only the blouse had allowed her natural vitality to shine through. This is the lesson so many women overlook. The right blouse does more than cover the body. It shapes how others see you, and just as importantly, how you see yourself. In this guide, I'll break down the most common mistakes women make after 50 and show you how to correct them with smart choices in cut, fabric, proportion, and color. These aren't trends to chase or rules to memorize. They are timeless adjustments that help your wardrobe reflect the woman you are today, confident, visible, and unmistakably elegant. For women in their 50s, 60s, and beyond who have ever felt invisible or stuck in old habits, this isn't about dressing younger. It's about rediscovering yourself through clothing that flatters, empowers, and celebrates where you are now. Fashion at this stage of life should never be about hiding. It should be about stepping forward with confidence, clarity, and joy. Blouses carry more influence than most women realize because they sit at the center of attention, framing the face, shaping the shoulders, and directing how others see you before you even speak. Unlike skirts or trousers, which often blend into the background, a blouse is always in the line of sight. It is the garment that establishes presence the moment you enter a room. Fashion psychology offers a useful lens here. The concept of enclothed cognition describes how the clothes we wear not only alter how others perceive us, but also how we perceive ourselves. A study published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology showed that participants who wore what they believed to be a doctor's coat performed better on attention-related tasks than those who believed they were wearing a painter's smock. Even though the garments were identical, the meaning assigned to the clothing shifted confidence and behavior. Translate that into everyday life. When you wear a blouse that flatters your coloring and drapes gracefully across your frame, it changes not only how others view you, but also how you carry yourself. I once worked with a client named Susan, a 61-year-old woman who had relied on a beige polyester blouse for more than a decade. She thought of it as a reliable classic. Yet whenever she wore it, friends and colleagues asked whether she was tired. One day we replaced it with a jewel-tone teal blouse cut in soft satin. Her skin immediately looked brighter, her silver hair gleamed, and when she attended a luncheon later that week, she was showered with compliments. The only change was fabric and color, yet it transformed her energy and the way others responded to her. Every woman has experienced this difference. Certain blouses seem to lift the eyes, brighten the skin, and encourage straighter posture. Others drag everything downward, dull the complexion, and make you feel older than you are. If you think back, can you remember the last time you put on a blouse and instantly felt taller, more alive, more visible? Just as vividly, you can probably recall the time when a blouse looked promising on the hanger, but left you feeling invisible once you stepped into the mirror's reflection. This is why blouses should never be chosen as afterthoughts. They are not fillers in a wardrobe. They are the frames around your presence. Posture studies show that when the neckline opens up the chest, shoulders drop and breathing deepens, creating an aura of ease and openness. When the cut is too tight or the fabric too clingy, the opposite occurs. You begin adjusting, your body tightens, and your energy closes inward. Even without realizing it, you communicate tension. The solution is not quantity but selectivity. A handful of well-chosen blouses, designed to skim rather than cling, cut in colors that reflect light toward the face, and built in fabrics that move with you, can create a far stronger impact than an overflowing closet of outdated or safe options. At this stage of life, the goal is not to disappear behind fabric, but to emphasize presence with intention. The blouse is more than fabric. It is a subtle form of self-expression. Choose it wisely, and it will serve as a tool for visibility, elegance, and confidence. Understanding this importance is the foundation before addressing the mistakes many women fall into. beginning with the oversized, shapeless fits that promise comfort, but quietly take away the balance that creates timeless style. Number 1. Oversized and boxy blouses. Why safe isn't always flattering. One of the most common blouse choices women over 50 make is the oversized, boxy cut. It feels forgiving, it feels comfortable, and it seems like a safe way to conceal areas of the body we no longer feel confident about. But what feels safe in the mirror often translates very differently in real life. A blouse that is too large or too square does not disguise the body. It erases shape entirely. Instead of slimming, it often adds visual width, drags the posture downward, and makes the frame appear heavier than it really is. Think of your figure as graceful architecture. Covering it with an unstructured sheet does not protect the design, it hides all of its beauty. I once worked with a woman named Carol, 64, who admitted that she gravitated toward tunic-style blouses because she wanted to hide her midsection. Yet whenever she wore them, she received fewer compliments and often felt overlooked. When she switched to a gently tailored blouse with seams that suggested a waistline, paired with slim trousers, the difference was immediate. Not only did she look taller and lighter, but she told me she felt visible again. That single change shifted her presence in the room. Research in apparel design supports this experience. A 2019 study, published in the Journal of Fashion Marketing and Management, found that structured garments with subtle waist definition were consistently rated as more elegant and age-appropriate for women over 55 compared to oversized silhouettes. The conclusion was clear. Women do not need to chase tight clothing, but gentle structure creates the perception of vitality and balance. So how can you correct the oversized habit without sacrificing comfort? Start with gentle tailoring. Look for blouses with darts, wrap effects, or shaping seams. These details skim the body without clinging. Try the half-tuck technique. Tucking in just the front of your blouse defines the waist and elongates the legs while still allowing movement. Finally, use layering with a blazer or structured cardigan. Even if the blouse itself is looser, a tailored jacket frames it, restoring balance and intention. Ask yourself, do you ever put on a blouse that feels cozy, but then avoid being photographed in it? Have you noticed that oversized tops make you look shorter in pictures? These are signals that comfort has crossed into the territory of disguise. True comfort comes from clothes that move with you, but also respect your shape. The goal is not to return to the body you had at 20, but to highlight the elegance you carry today. Once you see how tailoring, proportion, and simple styling tricks transform an outfit, oversized blouses lose their appeal. They stop feeling like safety nets and start looking like barriers to your presence. Understanding this first mistake prepares us for the next issue many women encounter: patterns that shout louder than the person wearing them. Let's look at how overly busy prints can age your style and how to choose designs that frame your beauty instead of competing with it. Number 2. Pattern overload. When prints steal the spotlight. Prints can add energy and personality, but when they become too loud, they overpower the woman wearing them. Oversized florals, clashing swirls, or blouses with a rainbow of colors create visual clutter. Instead of drawing the eye to your face, they compete with it, leaving the blouse as the main attraction and you as the supporting role. Consider how this plays out in real life. At a family wedding, one woman wore a blouse covered in large, multicolored roses. The print was bold but in. Science supports this. A 2015 study in the Journal of Vision showed that when too many competing colors appear together, the solution is refinement, not avoidance. Choose smaller-scale patterns that suit your frame. Limit the color palette to 2 or 3 coordinated shades. Favor vertical or diagonal motifs that guide the eye up and down, creating a lengthening effect. Subtle polka dots, delicate florals, or tone-on-tone geometrics add personality while keeping the focus where it belongs on you. Ask yourself, do people compliment the blouse more than they compliment you when you wear certain prints? Do photographs of bold patterns make you feel like the garment entered the room before you did? If so, it may be time to edit your wardrobe with intention. The best prints act as supporting players. They should lift the complexion, frame the face, and harmonize with your natural coloring rather than overpower it. Once you apply this filter, the difference is striking. You look fresher, more approachable, and unmistakably elegant. With patterns under control, the next element to examine is the neckline. The shape around your collarbones has as much influence as the print itself, because it determines whether your face looks open, elongated, and radiant, or closed off and heavy. Number 3. Necklines that work against you. The neckline of a blouse can dramatically change how your face and posture are perceived. High, closed collars or crew necks often add weight visually, cutting off the neck and creating the impression of heaviness. For many women over 50, these styles feel modest or familiar, but they unintentionally close the frame of the face and emphasize the jawline or fine lines around the chin. More open shapes such as the V-neck, boat neck, or a softly unbuttoned collar have the opposite effect. They elongate the neckline, create vertical movement, and invite the eye upward. A V-neck is particularly powerful because it slims the upper body without being revealing. A boat neck broadens narrow shoulders slightly and highlights the collarbone, bringing balance to the figure. An open collar communicates ease and polish, perfect for daytime elegance. I worked with a client, Ellen, age 60, who wore crew neck tops almost exclusively. She said they felt safe and covered, yet she often received comments that she looked tired. When we replaced one of her staple crew neck blouses with a boat neck in the same color, the change was immediate. Her shoulders looked relaxed, her face more open, and the first reaction from a friend was, "You look so alive." Nothing else changed, just the neckline. Studies in appearance psychology confirm this effect. Research published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology noted that vertical and open lines in clothing are consistently rated as more flattering because they direct attention to the face rather than stopping at the chest. Necklines that extend the vertical line are especially effective for women whose posture or skin tone has shifted with age. Think about your own wardrobe. Do you still rely on high crew necks or buttoned-up collars because they feel appropriate? Do you notice that photographs of yourself in those styles make your face appear heavier? Have you tried substituting a V-neck or boat neck and felt an instant lift in energy? The neckline you choose is not a small detail. It is the frame that either supports or suppresses your natural expression. Once you recognize how much it influences perception, you stop choosing blouses out of habit and start selecting cuts that open and elongate. With neckline resolved, the next factor to consider is fabric. The material of a blouse can either glide gracefully and flatter your shape or cling in ways that betray it. Understanding drape and texture is the next step toward building a wardrobe that supports both elegance and comfort. Number 4. Clingy fabrics that betray you. Few elements can undermine elegance faster than the wrong fabric. Thin polyester or inexpensive jersey knits may feel lightweight, but they cling to every curve, fold, and posture change, often exaggerating features you would rather soften. Instead of creating graceful movement, clingy fabric grips the body and highlights lines in harsh ways, making even a well-cut blouse look unpolished. The most flattering materials are those that skim rather than stick. Silk blends fall with a natural drape that catches light beautifully. Cotton, sateen, and poplin hold their shape while staying breathable, giving structure without stiffness. Linen blends provide an airy freshness, especially in warmer months, and develop a refined texture that signals ease and sophistication. These fabrics do more than flatter the body, they improve how you feel in motion. When a blouse glides as you walk, it adds presence and flow, which in turn communicates confidence. A simple method for judging fabric is the wave test. Hold the edge of the material and shake it gently. If it falls in a soft wave, it will flatter. If it collapses or clings, it will likely betray you once worn. This small exercise saves time and prevents costly mistakes in the fitting room. I recall working with Janet, 63, who owned a drawer full of clingy polyester blouses because they were easy to pack and inexpensive. Yet she constantly felt self-conscious, adjusting her tops during social events. When she replaced them with a few well-made silk and cotton sateen blouses, her entire posture changed. She stopped tugging at hems, walked taller, and admitted she felt finally comfortable in my own clothes. Studies in textile science support these observations. Research in the International Journal of Clothing Science and Technology found that fabrics with higher drape coefficients, such as silk and linen blends, were consistently rated as more flattering by both wearers and observers compared to rigid synthetics. The way fabric moves truly influences not only how it looks, but how it makes you feel. Think about your own closet. Do you keep clingy blouses because they seem convenient, even though you rarely feel confident in them? Have you noticed that in photos, those tops reveal every crease, while a silk or linen blouse seems to smooth everything out? Would you be willing to own fewer blouses if each one made you feel secure and polished? Fabric is not a minor detail. It is the foundation of how a blouse performs. Choosing materials that skim, drape, and breathe turns clothing into an ally rather than a source of stress. Once fabric is mastered, the next element to examine is detail. Outdated trims, buttons, or embellishments can date even the most elegant blouse, which is why learning to modernize small features is the next essential step. Number 5. Outdated details that quietly age your look. Even when the cut and fabric of a blouse are right, small details can instantly date the entire outfit. Shoulder pads. Updating these details requires little effort. Removing bulky shoulder pads immediately softens the line of a blouse and allows it to drape naturally. Replacing cheap buttons. I remember a client named Patricia, 66, who owned a cream blouse with stiff shoulder pads and oversized plastic buttons. The silhouette dragged her frame downward and made the piece feel like a relic from her corporate years. Once the pads were removed and the buttons replaced with subtle horn version. Research in fashion psychology backs this up. A study published in the Clothing and Textiles Research Journal found that garments with simple, updated finishes were consistently rated as more modern and youthful than those with ornate or outdated trims. Viewers associated clean details with vitality, while older embellishments often triggered associations with the past, even when the garment itself was well maintained. Ask yourself, do you have blouses in your closet that you keep out of nostalgia, even though the details feel heavy or outdated? Have you noticed that people compliment the memory of the garment? I had one just like that years ago, instead of complimenting how you look in it. These are signals that the details are telling the wrong story. The solution is not to discard every older blouse, but to edit strategically. Small updates breathe new life into classic pieces and make them feel intentional again. Once these details are addressed, the blouse becomes a canvas that highlights you rather than a reminder of another decade. With trims and embellishments refreshed, the next challenge is proportion. Even the most elegant blouse can look awkward if its length or balance is off, which is why understanding the rule of thirds is the next key step toward timeless style. Number 6. Proportion mistakes that disrupt elegance. Proportion is one of the most overlooked aspects of dressing, yet it determines whether a blouse enhances or diminishes your silhouette. When the balance between top and bottom is off, even an expensive blouse can look awkward. The most reliable guideline is the 1/32/3 rule. One section of the body should visually occupy about 1/3 and the other 2/3. This creates harmony and length. A blouse that cuts the body exactly in half makes the torso look shorter and the figure boxy, while a top that falls at the right point elongates the line and restores balance. A common example is the tunic-length blouse paired with wide trousers. Although both pieces might be elegant on their own, together they create a block of fabric that swallows the frame. I worked with Linda, age 65, who loved flowing tunics because they felt comfortable. Yet every time she wore them with relaxed pants, she complained she looked heavier in photos. By adjusting to a blouse that skimmed the mid-hip, roughly 1/3 of her frame, and using a half-tuck, her proportions shifted instantly. Her legs appeared longer, her waist more defined, and the entire outfit felt modern. The half-tuck is an easy styling tool. By tucking only the front portion of the blouse, you define the waist without losing movement. It also prevents the blouse from dragging the line of the legs downward. This technique works with both slim pants and wide trousers, offering shape where you need it while keeping the look relaxed. Research in visual aesthetics reinforces this principle. A 2020 study in the Journal of Fashion and Textiles found that observers consistently rated outfits using the 1/32/3 ratio as more balanced and flattering than those cut into equal halves. The human eye prefers vertical movement, and this proportion subconsciously communicates elegance and confidence. Think about your own wardrobe. Do you own blouses that end at mid-thigh and make you feel shorter? Do you avoid tucking altogether because you fear it will highlight the midsection, even though leaving everything untucked hides your shape entirely? Have you tried a half tuck and noticed how it changes your posture in photographs? Proportion is not about strict rules, but about guiding the eye. When length and balance are intentional, clothes support you instead of working against you. Once you begin to apply this principle, you notice that many of your existing blouses can be styled differently rather than replaced. After addressing proportion, the next challenge is color. The shade of a blouse can either brighten your complexion and bring light to your eyes, or leave you looking dull and tired. Understanding how color reflects onto the face is the final step toward creating a wardrobe that consistently makes you look vibrant and elegant. Number 7. Choosing the wrong colors. Color is one of the most powerful tools in dressing, yet it is also one of the easiest areas to overlook. Many women default to black or stark white because they seem classic and versatile. On younger skin, these shades can look sharp, but as the complexion changes with age, high-contrast colors often create harsh shadows. Black can deepen the appearance of fine lines, while pure white can wash out warmth and leave the skin looking flat. The solution is to soften and enrich. Shades like ivory, cream, or warm beige reflect light back onto the face in a gentler way than pure white. Jewel tones, emerald green, sapphire blue, amethyst purple, and deep teal add vibrancy and sophistication. These colors reflect beautifully against silver or gray hair and bring brightness to the eyes. Avoid muddy midtones such as dull beige, mustard brown, or murky olive. They tend to drain energy from the complexion and make the face look tired. I remember a client, Helen, 67, who loved her neutral beige blouses because she felt they were safe. Yet she noticed that every time she wore them, people asked if she was feeling unwell. We tried a deep teal blouse in the same cut. Immediately, her skin looked more radiant, and her blue eyes appeared luminous. The following week, she wore it to a book club, and several women commented that she looked rested and glowing. The only change was color. Color psychology research supports this. Studies in the Color Research and Application Journal have shown that saturated hues like jewel tones are perceived as energizing and youth-enhancing, while desaturated neutrals often convey fatigue. What this means for women over 50 is that the right blouse color does not just flatter. It changes the way people interpret your mood and vitality. Reflect on your own wardrobe. Do you notice that black feels safe, but often makes you reach for extra makeup? Have you ever compared photos of yourself in ivory versus bright white and seen how one softens your expression while the other hardens it? Which colors in your closet always earn compliments about you rather than just the blouse? Color is not about chasing trends, it is about directing light to your advantage. The right shades make you look fresh, confident, and approachable. Once you become intentional about color, even simple outfits take on new life. With color understood, the final step is learning how to shop smarter. Fit, fabric, and finish matter, but without intentional choices in the dressing room, closets quickly fill with pieces that never feel quite right. Building a strategy for shopping ensures that every blouse you bring home works for you rather than against you. One of the most important reminders in style after 50 is that it is never too late to try something new. Clothes should not feel like limits, they should feel like tools for expression. The women who embrace change, even in small steps, are often the ones who appear the most alive and confident. Linda, at 61, had fallen into the habit of wearing oversized blouses because she felt they concealed her body. Over time, though, she realized those pieces were also concealing her presence. When she switched to gently tailored blouses that skimmed her shape, her friends immediately noticed. At a luncheon, someone told her she looked lighter and more vibrant. The truth was simple. She hadn't changed her body, she had changed her lines. Research published in the Journal of Fashion Marketing and Management supports this, showing that garments with subtle waist definition are consistently rated as more flattering and age-appropriate than unstructured ones. Mary, 58, struggled with feeling that her face looked closed off in photographs. She preferred high crew necks out of habit, but they made her neck appear shorter. One day she tried a blouse with a boat neckline. The effect was instant. Her collarbone framed her smile, her shoulders appeared broader, and her whole look felt open and fresh. She later admitted that it was the first time in years she looked at a picture of herself and thought, "That's me." Studies in appearance psychology have documented similar findings. Open and vertical necklines are perceived as more approachable and youthful than restrictive ones. Think about your own experiences. Have you avoided trying a new silhouette because you feared it might draw too much attention, only to realize later that the safe choice was the one aging you? Do you own blouses that you keep out of routine but rarely feel confident wearing? What happened the last time you experimented with a different neckline or color? Did people notice you before they noticed the garment? These stories illustrate that fashion after 50 is not about retreating. It is about leveraging details, necklines, proportions, fabrics, colors, to highlight the woman you already are. The right blouse does not transform you into someone else. It allows your energy and confidence to come forward without distraction. The lesson is clear. Confidence begins with intentional choices. Once you see how simple shifts can change perception, shopping becomes less about filling space and more about investing in pieces that honor you. With these lessons in mind, the next natural step is to explore how to shop smarter, building a closet that works harder, so every blouse you own feels like a reflection of your best self. A blouse is never just a piece of fabric. It is the frame for your presence, the element that shapes how others see you and how you see yourself. Elegance has no age limit, and the right choices prove that refinement and confidence only grow stronger with time. The lesson is simple. After 50, style is not about chasing trends or hiding from change. It's about balance, comfort that allows you to move with ease, proportions that highlight your best features, and self-expression that reflects the woman you are today. There is no such thing as being too old to try something new. Every adjustment, every thoughtful detail, is an opportunity to feel vibrant and fully visible. If this video inspired you, subscribe and join our community of women who believe elegance doesn't fade with age, it evolves. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video where we'll continue this journey together.